I'll call this meeting of the Committee of the Whole to order at 6:42. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen,
Here.
Mayor Murphy,
Here.
Mr. Miller,
Here.
Mr. Doherty,
Here.
Mr. Delph,
Here.
Mrs. Witt,
Here.
Ms. Marcus.
Here. The next item we have is the approval of the minutes for the June 11th meeting. If nobody has any corrections, they will be approved as they are. Hearing none, they are approved. Finance Director, do you have anything?
No report, Ms. Marcus, thank you.
City Manager?
Yes, Ms. Marcus, I just want to elaborate a little more on the Shears ribbon cutting. So they've been operating for the past several months, but some of the exciting news that they publicly released, when we started that initiative, it was known as Project Crispy, and the collaboration between the county, the Dayton Development Coalition, Jobs Ohio, and the city of Moraine was for a project that was going to be close to 300 jobs. And they have shared that because of the outfit of the building and the future potential that's coming from the small bag snack industry, they may be able to double that employment over the next 5 years and maybe hit 600 employees. So that was very exciting news to hear with the city, and we'll see how it goes.
I heard on TV, when the one gentleman said that they originally had forecast 200, but they said it looks like it might turn into 600.
It very well could, and there are possible future expansion opportunities in the building as well. So let's keep our fingers crossed they're successful. I know that they're very excited and happy to be here, part of Moraine. They shared that with the council members and Libby and I during the ribbon cutting. So great to hear and see. Thank
Does
you.
that mean that all of the GM plant is now occupied?
So the mayor kind of brought that up in her comments. The existing, from an existing building standpoint, yes. But there is still land when you consider Delphi and GM that has potential for future development. But all existing previously occupied buildings are now occupied.
I think we still have like a pump house or something there. I don't know if that's going to be torn down or.
It would never be able to be reused as a structure. It could very well be torn down, and that would be part of the future, like brownfield redevelopment of the land opportunities that we still have and are still marketing.
There's nothing planned for that right now. We don't know.
Not at this point, no.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mayor, did you have anything?
I have nothing to report at this time.
Law Director,
No, Miss Marcus, thank you.
Clerk of Council?
Nothing to report, thank you.
Okay, go to business. Anyone wishing to raise a question about any piece of legislation listed on this agenda will have 3 minutes at this time. All other topics to be addressed to council will be heard later in this meeting. No takers? Okay, I think we have a guest here tonight, and instead of having him go last, I was thinking we'll have him go first. Then if he doesn't want to sit through the rest of it, he's free to go. And we won't think anything bad about it if you do.
Mike, what's that? Oh yeah, he got entertained tonight. I mean, this is entertainment right here. So, well, good evening. Thank you all for being here. I know we spoke about a month ago at our meeting about the splash pad, and you asked a couple things of combining option 1 and option 2, and excuse me, and kind of getting rid of the overhang maybe on the bathroom. So I went back to the Kleininger's group and we discussed about him coming tonight. So he is here. So tonight, Mr. Mike Slagle will be here to speak to you. He'll kind of go over where we're at in the process and kind of maybe what needs to be done going forward. So with that, I'd like to welcome Mr. Slagle to the podium.
Thank you. Appreciate you all letting me be here and address the committee here. So I'm not sure how to advance the slides. There's a. I have it. Just tell me when you want to go forward. All right. How about we go forward to the first slide? That is maybe the wrong sheet. Maybe the next one?
This is what was provided. What slide are you looking for?
The vision plan from 2025? While he's looking for that, I can kind of start, perhaps. This is the old, yeah, this is. So my name is Mike Slagle. I'm with the Kleinger's Group. We have been contracted with the city to prepare designs for Or Everest Park, the splash pad project, and we've been going through quite extensive process to look at the design holistically and to come up with concepts and ideas for what could be at the park and how to reimagine and re-envision the park itself. So out of the 2025 vision plan, one of the first orders of business that was established in that plan was a splash pad for the city. So to help engage the younger generations, right, and provide an amenity for members of the community. So we were then contracted to start that process, and I see a lot of familiar faces around. So we've had a great turnout in a lot of our kind of community input sessions that we've had with maintenance staff and planning and zoning and engineering and obviously Parks and Rec. So we've had a lot of great input on the various concept plans that we put together, and we've arrived at a preferred concept plan for the splash pad, and I've started the construction document process for the splash pad. So once we can get this up, we will flip through and I can kind of walk through the design and talk through that. Any questions off the bat there on the process thus far?
I just want to mention that it looks like in our packets, we do have the correct,
Okay.
the correct presentation. So if we can't get it pulled up here,
Okay.
we can at least follow along.
Sure, okay, well, let's do that. So if you want to look at the first page here, we have the 2025 vision plan. So this was established by the consultant at the time through a lot of community input and planning. So I just wanted to point out a couple things on this vision plan to make everybody aware. So we have the Civic Center in orange, kind of in the center of the site. Obviously, the existing parking lots. If you look directly south of or towards the bottom of the sheet from the Civic Center, you have where they located a splash pad. At the time of this, the splash pad was fairly large. It was, I think, 8,000 square feet, give or take, which is a sizable splash pad. So, and then below that, you'll see a playground, some future parking lots, and then some athletic amenities within the park itself. So that was the vision plan, and that was really the starting point for our process. So we took a look at that, and then if you flip to the next sheet, we started our concept design for the project, and this involved, as I mentioned, city staff, and we really started to try to vision out what could be within the park. So it wasn't solely focused on the splash pad at this point, right? We like to look at design from a holistic perspective. So we're looking at the entire park. Where are we siting the splash pad? What other amenities are desired for future improvements at the park? And so that's what you kind of see on the bottom of this page. We went through a couple different design iterations of what that could be. With different features, different orientations of the building and parking, drop-off areas, where might the playground move, depending on where it's located on the site. So there we go. All right, the next page, we can flip to that. There we go. All right, now we're caught up. And we can go to the next page. So we went through this process and we identified a preferred concept plan. So that's the following page. You'll see the overall plan that was desired based on the feedback we got on the concept planning phase. And so we started to prepare some rough order of magnitude cost estimates for the project and to understand, hey, are we in budget? What are these improvements going to cost and sequence of events for construction? So from this layout, I'll just kind of walk through the proposed plan. You have the existing drive coming into the Civic Center. We are proposing a drop-off area for a community building restroom kind of building, and then entrance into the splash pad. So you don't have to cross over the vehicular drive lane to get to the actual splash pad features or the park itself. And then it allows you to actually loop back around and then exit towards the north through the parking lot again. So that's the arrival sequence. We have a restroom building, obviously the splash pad and some shade shelters, some landscaping, and in general, that's kind of the full extent of the plan. You'll see everything in purple on this graphic is a future phase. So this is kind of looking at what are the adjacencies to what we're planning on doing right now, so that we can then plan for the future, right, on the next improvements that might happen at the park, and so that everything works together in a holistic manner. So there's a central green, there's the playground space at number 2, a future parking lot expansion to the south, and then obviously some athletic amenities with the pickleball and sport courts for soccer and so on and so forth. So that was the preferred concept plan that we arrived at. Any questions? I'll pause there. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, now she has to go find a parking spot. She gets on her phone, here's these kids by themselves. I don't think we need a drop-off. To me, you park, you walk your kids to there.
So Mike, sorry.
Yep.
I think
That's fine.
it's just called a drop-off area. I mean, there's going to be some spot where they're going to do that regardless whether we call it that or not. But that's just the verbiage I think that they use is calling it a drop-off area.
But I think people would use
Like
it.
if you go to the rec center now, you could say the front door is a drop-off. You could say there's a drop-off in front of the Civic Center. I think that's just what he's referring to.
Right,
He's not.
but-
We're not going to say, hey, come drop your kids off here
But
at the drop-off.
You
is what
have
I'm
people
saying.
that will hear the word drop-off. They will drop their kids off. Now, these kids aren't going to stand there and wait for mom to come back. They're going to see the water. What are they going to do? They're going to run for the water, right?
Sure.
I mean, I've had kids. I know what kids do. And I know when people hear the word drop-off, maybe we changed the word, but people hear the word drop-off, they're going to drop off their kids and then go park, because they would have to go park. I mean, if you drop them off, you have to go park. So you're leaving them there.
So I'll say,
I have mine on.
But we're not gonna have signage up that says drop off.
it's not says drop off, no, and we can call it a circular drive. There's a lot of different names we can use for it.
just gonna see.
The main purpose for it is we had to find a way to get vehicles who enter this site to get down to this part of the parcel, part of the property, to be able to turn around and then exit back out to the north. The current cul-de-sac is what I'll call it, I guess, that's existing is a little bit, is undersized. So you can't actually make a full turn to go around. You actually have to make kind of a 3-point turn depending on the size of your vehicle. So that's that's the real reason for this circular drive, is to allow vehicles to enter and then loop back and then exit out to the north.
Well, if you pull into a parking spot, you're gonna back out, you're gonna leave.
Sure.
You're not gonna go back out, drive all the way up to the loop and leave. So, there again, the drop-off, people are gonna drop off people, kids, whatever, and I'm sorry, you can't tell me that that's not gonna happen, because it does happen. People do that all the time, they drop off their kids, and you know, she's gonna have to go park. Why else would we have it if not to drop people off?
Would you
Because-
rather the kids walk across a drive lane, a vehicular drive lane, and
Yeah.
potentially get into
With their
get in a
mother,
conflict
with their
with-
mother, yeah,
That's
holding
fine.
their
Then we-
hands.
yeah. Then that can modify on this plan, and you know, I think the intent is not to have people drop off and then you leave and then you don't watch your kids, right? The intent is always that you're going to
Right.
be present
Oh, I
with your
agree.
children and minors, right, who are
I
at the
agree,
park.
but I see it too often in stores nowadays, and, you know, in different things, you see people, they'll let their kids off, and then they'll go and, you know, mom's on the phone talking and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying that it worries me, especially when there's gonna be something there that's gonna really interest them. They're not gonna stand there, they walk through, they're gonna see the water, what are they gonna do? They're gonna go run for the water, because that's what I see it up there at, the Green. People just drop off their kids and they leave and they go shopping.
So it's pretty much, it sounds like just like a terminology difference. Can we just change it to like a handicap, accessible entrance?
It is intended to be that, right? There are going to
I
be
would rather.
flush curbs there to.
So I've done a lot of research now on this, and if you just are on Facebook and you see all these cities around us like Vandalia and Franklin and Westchester, they're all coming up with these things, right? They're all coming out with splash pads. So if you go to Franklin's Facebook page, they have a sign up that we will have signage that says children must always be supervised by an adult. Like, we're not, the drop off isn't where we need to be getting stuck here. It's regardless whether we do it, if it's the old cul-de-sac down there, people are still going to pull up there and drop their kids off. Like, that's just what's going to happen. I don't think there's any avoiding that at all.
We could, and there is, and just to be clear, there is a drop-off area at the Civic Center already existing. There is a little turn-off to drop off right there, so I'm not sure if it's signed currently or not. We could look at that and potentially add a sign if we need to. I think the plan was not to sign anything with the vehicular movements and just kind of leave it open for interpretation as users move through the site. Anything else?
Hi, Mike. On this plan, what is the square footage of the water feature area?
On this preferred concept, this is before we took a stab at reducing the square footage size. So this was trying to match the existing vision plan, the 2025 vision plan of roughly 8,000 square feet. And that's actual, what we would call a wet zone within the splash pad, and not the dry area outside of that where you're walking kind of around the splash pad. So if we are good to turn the page here, we'll talk to some local precedents here just on various sizes of other splash pads in the community. You'll see Centerville has one, is 1,250 square feet. Gorman Park in Sharonville has one that's 2,500 square feet, and so on and so forth, getting all the way up to Beckett Park in Westchester, which recently opened as an 8,000 square foot splash pad. So they're all varying sizes and amenity levels. Again, Casey Jane Park is 4,500, and then Woodland Mound in Hamilton County is 6,500 square feet. So the current proposed splash pad is in that 6,000 square foot range as we've reduced it. So it is on the larger end of the splash pads, but not certainly the largest in the area. And the vision for it was to create a destination splash pad, right? So there's large dumping buckets, there's large, what we would call equipment features where you can climb up into them with slides coming down, and also accessible features as well with the splash pad, so people of all ages can use and access the splash pad itself. So if we go to the next sheet, this is a couple renderings that we have put together of what the splash pad will look like.
One
So-
more thing real quick.
Sure.
Where you had Westchester listed up there, that is the largest splash pad in Ohio right now, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Aside from amusement parks.
Right.
Correct, yep. So the renderings on this next page, if you look at the top left, this is showing the restroom building kind of on the right-hand side of the image, and then you see kind of the monumental play structure within the splash pad itself, varying different levels and heights of slides coming down with run-out flumes, so you aren't going to slide off onto the concrete, you're sliding off into a still continuation of the slide itself. And then obviously all the different play features, from interactive sprays where you can twist and pull and shoot water out, or you can, there's little tables on the bottom. You can see the kind of table water journey, which is meant to be a younger toddler kind of area where they can explore water and how it moves through different flumes and waterfalls. So again, trying to hit all ages here with the splash pad, and also provide some shade, right? We have shade shelters in there for the parents and the caregivers who are going to be there so that they can have a good experience while they're watching their kids or kids play or themselves are participating in the splash pad. We flip to the next sheet. This is another rendering of the splash pad itself. So again, this is the monumental, focusing on the monumental play structure there with, again, the subsequent elements of the splash pad with the misting zones and ground sprays that are associated with this. So the splash pad would be set on an activator button, so it wouldn't be running all the time, right? You'd have to go up and hit a button, and can be programmed to different time periods for a run length and also different varying degrees of total fixtures that are running at one time. So it generally will run at 60 or 70% of the entire splash pad at one time. But again, that can be modified and changed. Okay, moving forward. This next sheet is the what we are calling the value engineering option. And this is kind of from the last meeting I think you all had of talking to, how can we kind of condense the scope a bit, bring the budget in line. So this is a nod to that. We've, again, kind of shrunk in the splash pad a bit, but again, it's still a sizable splash pad. In its square footage, 5,000-ish square feet. And then the other big savings from this plan is the restroom building had a breezeway in it, and you go through the building to get to kind of the park area. In this scenario, we've removed that breezeway, which saves a lot of cost, and then, condenses that building even further. So we still have restrooms, we still have a maintenance, an equipment room, which is important for long-term success of the splash pad to kind of keep care of the investment, but just in a more condensed form. So you can see some numbers there at the bottom. The total budget for this kind of value engineered option is $3.3 million for the project. And that includes the parking lot, that includes the building, the splash pad, everything you can see here.
Can you elaborate on the cost savings from the reduction in size of the splash pad itself?
Yes, so I don't know if I have a direct number of how much was saved by decreasing the size, but there's a significant savings in not only the equipment, but in the splash pad equipment itself and the spray features, but also in the concrete needed for the actual splash pad surfacing. So that is the bulk of that savings is there. I can follow back up with an actual number for you of what the difference is between the original 8,000 to 5,000. Sure. Okay, any other questions?
Just a comment.
Sure.
I spent, with the grandkids, we've spent a lot of time at the Kettering splash pad, and then we visited Springboro. The one thing I've noticed when I'm watching other parents or grandparents complain, they love the splash pad itself, but it's the lack of shade, especially on the very, very hot days. So I just wanted to point that out as we look at the concepts and that, to make sure we have a lot of shade, because that appears to be very important to the
That's a great point. Yeah, I appreciate that. And so some of our solutions for that is we're showing 3 shade shelters here, right? We also have some landscaping, right? Over time, the trees will grow up and also cast shade. But we are still including a reduced overhang at the back of the restroom and equipment room building to have some shade there as well. So varying degrees of levels of shade, but I completely agree as a parent myself, when you're going to the playground or the splash pad, shade is imperative, so. All right, we'll move right along to the next page. This is an example of what the splash pad floor plan, or excuse me, what the building floor plan would look like You'll see we have a women's restroom and a men's restroom. We do have some drinking fountains kind of before you would get into those areas. We have a family restroom as well with a changing area. Again, just thinking ahead of young kids and having some room to do that. Janitor and storage area, an equipment room, and then chemical storage as well, kind of facing on the right side of the page here. And the idea with that location is the equipment room being located close to the splash pad. So when you fire it up every day, you have someone in there, there's a window to look out so you can see, okay, it's firing fine, everything is operating as it should, or no, it's not working, we need to maintain this and change it. So that's some of the thought there, and also ease of deliveries for the chemicals and so on and so forth to maintain the system. We'll move on to the next sheet, and this is the project schedule. So you'll see we've been in schematic design and design development from January to May. We're having the council and committee of the whole meeting today. Our plan is to move forward, pending approval of this, obviously with construction drawings to be ready to bid the project out for public bid in early September timeframe. And then you can see bidding and negotiations lasting until kind of late fall, where construction would start. So the goal is to have this open, next year. It would not be a full season at this point just because of some of the changes in the schedule as it has progressed through design, but it would be open hopefully for a short period of time so that there's some use next year and the community can realize the investment. Questions on the schedule or anything else?
If I may, this is about 900,000 over the initial budget. So that, council, that's ultimately what we would be coming back with as a request for a supplemental. But Mike, I would like to ask you, how confident are you in that 3.4 number when it comes to bidding? Have you built in the pad already, or could we come back at 4 million with all the bids? And I know there's always an unknown,
Sure.
but hopefully you plan for some of that. So how accurate do you think this would be versus council, if they supported it, doing a supplemental for 900,000 and then getting bids that make them have to do another supplemental on top of that?
That's a great question. So, we can't predict the future, right? I think all with what COVID taught us, right, and the materials pricing skyrocket after that, right? It's hard to predict construction cost. So we do have some contingencies built into the numbers right now. The base subtotal for what we've priced out, again, we aren't contractors, we're designers, but we work on these projects all the time, so we have an integral knowledge of generally what these things cost, and we're working with vendors on the project itself. So the splash pad equipment, for instance, that's a hard number that we know what the cost is. Long story short, that's 3 million-ish, 3.1 million in just the cost of the actual project itself. So we have roughly $450,000 of contingency built into that in case there's a change order during construction where there's an unforeseen something under the ground that we have to mitigate for, or there's an issue with procurement of some of the equipment and we have to go with something different. So there is contingency built into it. How confident am I? I'm confident, but again, you never know with the bidding climate how things will come back. So hopefully that helped answer the question.
Thank you.
Anybody have any more questions for him?
I would say is Brent and I will come back to you with a request, which then would support the effort of the splash pad project moving forward.
So we'd be looking for legislation maybe at the next committee of the whole?
I don't, well, first I would say, Mike, you mentioned there was a little bit of overhang, but the middle section has been removed. The building, how much is that overhang now? And is there anything else, Brent, that we discussed in the work session that's changed from option 2 that council needs to be aware of. Because ultimately, they kind of landed on option 2 with a little bit of reduction, which Mike, you worked on. But is there anything that wasn't shown today that you could talk a little bit more about in regards to those changes?
Yeah, another good question. So I would say nothing really to share on the overall, what has changed. We are still in the design process, so this isn't fully designed at this point. I think one avenue and one feather in our cap, so to speak, with all the costumes here today, I feel a little bit underdressed. But we can always have alternates within the project. So if we want to have, I'm just going to use an example. If we want a lot of landscaping around the splash pad, we can set out a portion of that as an alternate, right? And then we can choose to accept it or deny it. So that can also help with the budgeting. We have a couple alternates to make sure that we fall in line with the budget and with what has been appropriated, from council. So I think that's another avenue for us to help with the budget.
And the restroom that you're showing is still a typical building. It's not the, I forget the word, the
Romtech building.
The
Yes,
Romtech.
It's not a prefab building like the Romtech is. It's
It's
normal,
just
normal construction building.
removing the breezeway and shrinking the
The
shaded.
overhang a bit. Yes, correct.
Have we decided on this option then, or?
This, what he showed today is what came out of the work session where council unanimously agreed after the conversation to go with option 2 with some further reductions. And I don't, was that initially 3.6, so it has been reduced to around 3.4. Do you remember what option 2 was before?
I
the
don't
reduction?
have that. I can get that answer for you. Yeah.
That would be helpful. I think ultimately, maybe, Brent, do we need to come back to committee of the whole with the number and explain it more thoroughly, and then we would ask for legislation after that? Ms. Marcus?
Okay, that's what I was thinking that we were going to do, so no legislation as of tonight.
Correct, but you can probably anticipate the request at the next meeting.
But we have pretty much decided what we're gonna do, but there's some options we're gonna look at yet.
Yeah. And they're
Okay,
gonna get us some numbers so we can show how much they reduced option 2.
okay, thank you. And
Thank you, everybody.
for your presentation.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'm gonna go back up to the top yet, and we'll discuss the new medic, the ambulance.
Yeah. So requesting $362,892 for a new ambulance. We are supposed to get our one that we ordered in '23 by the end of August, they're saying. They're stating this one will be ready in 14 months. So this is a state bid and it is a budgeted item.
Does anybody have any questions?
Is there any major differences between this and the one that's almost here? Pretty
Nope,
much
they're
identical?
the exact same manufacturer. That way we can keep consistencies across the maintenance and the equipment that's in it. On delivery. Mhm. 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 Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me again. Can you please turn your mic on? Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we have legislation drawn up for the pneumatic ambulance per the fire chief.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Doherty,
Yes?
Mr. Delph,
Yes.
Mrs. Witt,
Yes.
Mrs. Allen,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll just stay up here because the next one's mine too.
Okay, then, yeah, the next one I think is yours too. It's the cot and load purchase, system purchase.
Yes, ma'am. So this was actually budgeted for in 2028 because we assumed that the Medic wouldn't be ready for 3 years like the one we were getting this year that we ordered in 23. When they said 14 months, we have enough money left over in the budgeted ambulance money that we can pay for the cot out of it, and then we won't need the money in 2028. So it's for $70,691.66. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I believe she put up there the new paperwork. It is reduced $500 for shipping and handling. They gave me the wrong quote at first, so.
Is there any chance of getting a grant or any portion of that through a grant?
Not for the cot, no, not by the time
Not
it
for
would
that.
come in.
Does anybody else have any questions or want to make a motion?
Make a motion that we have legislation prepared for the onboard system purchase.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Delf?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item is the 2026 Ohio Public Works Commission, OPWC application for fiscal year 2028.
Hi, not asking for money this time, trying to get some for us. This is for the fiscal year 28. This will be some more piecemeal repair of our large concrete road, Dorothy Lane. And for this, we need authorizing legislation. There is a sample provided. It's pretty straightforward, just saying that the city approves, we can sign and apply for money. This would be for close to $200,000 in the grant.
Make a motion to have legislation prepared for the OPWC application for 2028 per the city engineer.
Any more questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Delf?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes. The next item is the CIT co-responder increase.
Good evening. Thank you. So if you remember, back in early 2025, the TCSU chiefs, several of the TCSU cities went together and contracted with South Community to hire two critical incident CIT co-responders to help the police and fire departments with our mental health calls, our overdose calls. They provide a great service to us. And we passed resolutions for a 3-year contract with South Community. They found us two excellent candidates, and we share those with some of the other cities. The program is working beautifully, exactly like we intended. It could not be better. The chiefs meet periodically and discuss the program, what we could improve, what maybe needs to change. And when we talked to some of our colleagues, what we realized was that because the CIT co-responders do such a good job, they are getting poached by outside agencies. So we briefly spoke with all the city managers that were involved and came up with a plan with South Community to maybe get them a slight pay increase to try to keep them on our payroll instead of some other cities or some other counties. So what South Community's come up with is a way that they can get some raises and bonuses based on certifications they get or time that they've spent with the public safety agencies. And we're estimating that at the end of the 3-year contract, this could probably cost us an extra 10%, us, the city of Moraine, 10%. Now, you might remember, this was an incredible value that we got, and we're using the opioid settlement funds to do that. So even a 10% increase is well worth it, and we would like to move in that direction. So if I understand correctly, I don't believe it needs any kind of supplemental appropriation. The finance director had the foresight to include some extra funds from the opioid settlement fund for any potential other programs that might have come up this year. So I'm asking for, and I guess we passed 2 resolutions back in 2025. One was for the city manager to enter into the agreement with TCSU so TCSU could control the contracts. And the other was so that we could use the opioid settlement funds for this purpose. Both of those resolutions mentioned $40,000 over the 3-year period. We think at the maximum it would be an extra 10%, and I don't know the best way to supplement that original $40,000 estimate. But if I could get an extra 10% added on to that, that's what I would ask for. And I would answer any questions that you guys had.
Chief, is this still being paid out of the opioid settlement fund?
Yes, sir.
Martina, do you feel that we would need new resolutions?
Yeah, probably what I'd do is just draft up legislation to basically mirror those 2 resolutions before with the additional 10% amount included. So,
Chief, do you want to do exactly 10%, or do we need to discuss a safe amount so we're not back here again?
So this is an estimate based on their current employees. If for some reason we lose one and one would come in with higher certifications that could cost us more money at the end of the 3-year period, I think 10% is safe for now. If we wanted to plan for any like worst case scenario contingencies, I mean, we could go higher. Again, this is the opioid money. There's very limited things that we can use it for to begin with. So I don't know what you would feel comfortable with, but.
And Annetta, those balances are pretty solid, correct?
The highest that you think it would actually ever grow?
If we did $50,000 for the 3-year period, I think that would suffice anything that would come up. And that would take us, I think, if I'm doing the calendar right through June or July of 2028. So, yeah, yep, yeah. We could instead of the 40s that we did last year, just change it to 50.
50.
You have any questions or comments, or somebody wants to make a motion?
So I'll make a motion to have legislation drawn up for the first, for the first part of that, to allow the city manager to enter into the agreement with TCSU on this. I assume we need 2 motions, right, Martina?
yeah, you can do 2 motions. That'll make it cleaner.
Okay.
Any other questions and comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Witt,
Yes.
Mrs. Allen,
Yes.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Doherty,
Yes.
Mr. Delph,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus.
Yes. Does anyone want to make a motion for the second half of that?
For the rate increase?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we have a rate increase of $10,000.
That changes the,
40. Of 10,000.
so I have a resolution for 50,000, 40 plus 10. Okay, any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Doherty,
Yes.
Mr. Delph,
Yes.
Mrs. Witt,
Yes.
Mrs. Allen,
Yes.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus.
Yes.
Thank you.
Our final item here is the e-citation, Mayor's Court local rule.
So the police department has the ability to join in the state program for the electronic traffic citation program, where they provide free printers and software for our cruisers so that we can print traffic citations electronically and forward those electronic citations to the proper courts. The courts that we use, Kettering Court and the juvenile court, they're already set up for it. One of the rules, one of the stipulations is that all your local courts have to have a rule in place that they will accept the electronic citation, accept the electronic signatures of the officer, the violator, whatever that is, and have that rule in place. Our mayor's court doesn't have that rule. So I think after a brief discussion with the law director, I think the cleanest way to do it would be to pass an ordinance that is included with some of our other mayor's court rules that would allow mayor's court to accept those electronic citations, and that would fulfill our obligation to the state.
And Susie knows about this?
She knows it's coming. She's waiting on a software upgrade for her software package, and as soon as she gets that, then we can do this. And I think she's excited about it because some of the officers'
Great.
printing isn't the best.
Oh, I can tell you that.
And Chief, this is in a trial phase for now as well, correct?
I'm sorry, sir?
It's in a trial phase, meaning we are going through the free printer phase, trying it out to see how it.
They are dropping off the printers Monday to us, and we will fire them up and start the trial on them. If we don't like them, we don't have to keep them forever, but it should work out. The cities that have them, it seems to work out pretty well. So.
Oh, wow. Glad to hear that.
Is there any cost to the city on this?
None.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So all you need is legislation for permission to do this.
I need an ordinance for ordinance to add this to our.
Ordinance to add it to the MCO, that there's an MCO provision that concerns mayor's court, so we're adding it to that. It would have 2 readings, and then it become effective 30 days after the second reading. I assume you don't need it quicker than that, Chief?
No, so
Okay.
our local court software package isn't going to be ready by the time the ordinance is ready, so it should coincide fine, so.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we have a legislation drawn up for an ordinance per the law director and the police chief.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen, Mrs.
Yes.
Allen?
She said yes.
Okay. Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Delph?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes. And that includes our business tonight. Did anyone wish to appear before council? Okay, no takers. We're moving to staff and council report. I'm going to start with the fire department.
Nothing more to report, ma'am. Thank you.
Police department,
Nothing, ma'am, thank you.
building maintenance,
I have nothing, ma'am. Thank you.
parks and rec,
I have nothing. Thank you, ma'am.
community development,
No report, Ms. Marcus, thank you.
city engineer,
No report, thank you.
and building and zoning.
No report, thank you.
Okay, we'll go over to the law director,
No, thank you, ma'am.
finance director,
Nothing, thank you.
clerk of council,
Nothing, thank you.
city manager,
Nothing further, Ms. Marcus, thank you.
the mayor,
Nothing at this time, but thank you.
Mr. Delph.
Just hope that everyone has a safe and happy 4th, and we'll see you all next weekend.
President Lincoln,
Nothing to report, Miss Marcus. Thank you.
Mr. Miller,
Nothing further, thank you.
okay, I already talked city manager, Mayor Murphy, Mrs. Witt, you're next.
I would just like to make one statement. I am so thankful that the good Lord put me in this time period and not back when Betsy Ross was living.
That's true.
Because these clothes are not comfortable.
Mrs. Allen?
Oh, yes. I just would like to report something that I've been trying to get the city of Huber Heights, a lady that I know that works there, or she's on the city council. And it's evidently they've gone to an AI response, and it sucks. It's really bad. And I've tried every day this week to get her. I talked with the clerk of council. He gave me the number to call. The number doesn't work. So I just hope if the city considers doing that, they will give it some careful consideration.
And I'm a witness to that conversation, because she was trying to do it, they were trying to, and from what they said, they are all having trouble communicating since they put in the AI system. It's turned into a real headache.
Yes, we talked to one of these city council members last night, and he says that it's really bad, that he's been trying to get through to someone for weeks and hasn't been able to do it.
Yeah, and people can't catch him. So, as I pointed out to him, there's drawbacks about being the first one with the first new thing. You don't want to do that. You get all the bugs. Well, I have nothing else, so we'll adjourn this meeting at 7:33. Thank you all.